Hey man, we are here with the College Access Roundtable. Thank y'all so much for being a part of this. I've been wanting to get this together so that we can make an impact for students and parents that we are serving and those who are going to be watching while this goes on. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right. So we're talking about college selection. We'll start with the process. So what is some advice or some things that you've been seeing with the students that you're serving or the students that you run into when they are starting to select their college, right? Getting ready for the next step in their life. What have you been seeing? What have you been seeing on your ends?
On the college side, I will say they always look at rankings. Like the rankings it's just so important to all these students, and I always try to explain to them, yes, that can be a starting point, but at the same time, like how did they get there? Why are they on this list? How are they being evaluated? When considering your college options, ranking shouldn't be your sole focus. There are other opportunities and other options like your housing, your meal plans, what other areas are around the campus that you should truly consider. So think about it just a little bit more before you're simply choosing a school based off those rankings. So you have to take it outside of just the rankings of the college and go a lot deeper into other areas that they have that you're looking for. So I think that's a big problem, is thinking that it just makes us such a great school and the perfect fit for you, but you have to understand that there's a lot more to it than just those simple numbers.
Mm-hmm. Well, I just add to that, just meeting with students one-on-one and just in general, most of the time they're picking what they're most familiar with. It may be something local, that they hear all the time, they see all the time. It may be a family member or close, someone that they know that went to a school. It's not always about the best fit. And I do know on the counseling side of it, we do try to make sure as early as kindergarten, we give them those assessments to kind of help them figure out, okay, what I'm good at, what does this assessment say about what I like, what I don't like. And as they, kind of matriculate through middle and high school, then they, of course, by high school, ninth grade, we want them to kind of narrow that focus down as much as they possibly can.
Right. That's what it takes, narrow focus. I know that a lot of times those students are I want to go to the top 50 schools on my list, right? We'll part all 50, right?
I'm not doing all those transcripts.
Right. So that narrow focus is exactly what we're talking about.
But that's part of the problem along with that is there's so many students that think, well, then I can brag about how many schools I got into and how much scholarship money I got. That's great, but you're probably all over the place if you're just casting that wide net without thinking about the fit.
So really, when thinking about fit, think about all of the pieces for what that means. And so it's academic, social, financial, but also make sure that when you're thinking about the fit, it's the fit for you. It's not for your friend, it's not for someone else that you've been talking with about the process. It's your fit specifically.
So to me, I think it's also staying open-minded in the process and having a variety of schools that you are considering, but then also not rushing that process.
Right.
I think we see too many students who take little pieces of information and think, okay, well, that's where I'm going. Based on what? And you haven't taken the time to gather all the information. And these kids are way too talented to be limiting their options and to rush that decision. See what's out there, gather the information. That does not mean they have to apply to 50 schools to have that option, but make sure you have all of the information. Because on the college side, we don't want any students on our campuses who aren't happy throughout the 4 years, and finding that academic fit, social fit, financial fit. It takes time to put that information together, and if you're rushing that, you're not happy, then all of us involved in this process are going to be sad.
And also, understanding that, like, as you mentioned, you have the opportunity to venture out and see these schools, so you're not making a quick decision. Right. Being a public institution, I tell students all the time, you can literally go on campus, you can eat on campus, you can talk to students. It's open to you. And being in Atlanta, that's it's perfect. You have the private schools, you have all boys school, all women's college. Whether you're downtown, outskirts of town, you can literally kind of check out all these different colleges in this little mecca of a town, and then make your decision. And honestly, just start expanding from there. So I think that's the other thing, just understanding that. You can start right now. You don't have to wait. You can start in the 5th grade and just start making those little checkpoints as you go forward.
Right. So one of the big things that I've been working with college-bound families is kind of like breaking down what the college admissions process looks like, right? What are some of those access opportunities? What are some of the things that they should be doing in 9th grade or 10th grade or 11th grade as they continue through high school? And so from the high school side, what is it like in reference to what schools are telling students to do, as they are thinking about college admissions? Like, what are the steps that the high school level is showing them?
Well, of course, the first layer to it is that advisement piece, that academic advisement piece. Because once you start accumulating high school credits, and then, of course, some middle schoolers are now having an opportunity to accumulate those high school credits. They got to know once that's on your transcript, because, we have parents all the time, can they drop that? No, it's like college. We're dropping that, that's it. You turns off and turns, that's how it works. So the academic advisement is very important. And then 2, just going beyond that, I think you said about the access and exposure, making sure that they not just we're talking about it, they have the opportunity to go to the colleges to see or have some job shadowing opportunities. And even, when they junior, senior year, I know those co-op programs where they can go in and, work their junior, senior, those type of opportunities. So it's layers to it. Sometimes they get it, sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
But,
So I do hear an opportunity to get to the students earlier, because in this upcoming generation, they have to have a greater understanding of how they're going to maximize and utilize it and the why behind it. And so each person, each student, their interest or their why may be different. And so we have to start with more engaging conversations and less about the process and the steps. Okay. And so the other part of that is when you start with the conversation, that is going to help guide what the next steps will be for that family and those students. Because they have to, at an early age, I'm talking 6, 7, 8, have to know how they're going to utilize the pieces. Absolutely. And when I say the pieces, I mean, how are you going to utilize your high school experience as exploration to figure out what I want to do and where I want to do it at. And then I call it like the blockchain generation, where they want to know the value of everything that they do, not necessarily the end result, right? And so if we can't communicate that language, then there's going to be a disconnect with the youth.
Okay. What about on the college side? Like, what is the college admissions process looking like once they, started to become exposed to you? Like, what does that look like on your end?
What we're typically doing, of course, we're venturing out to see the students and engaging their interests. And it's really, as you all mentioned, that how prepared are you to attend our institutions? Because it's different. There's no more hand holding. You have to, we're looking for that maturity, leadership. So with the student, they really have to be already engaged with what they want to do in the future, their major. And it can change, but it's definitely, you want to see that student that is truly understanding of where they want to go. Because that student will do better typically when, first day on the college campus. And of course we have resources as well, but you do want to have a prepared student to make sure that transition is as smooth as possible for them.
Right. And I know students don't love when we say this, but they have to do their research. It's work. I know that's not fun, but the earlier that you can start that, the better off you are. So just starting to think about, first of all, being authentic and being honest about what it is that you're truly passionate about, what you're interested in, what your goals are. what you're involved in, what do you want to continue with, but start that research now.
I know that this is the probably least popular thing that I said, but when we were talking about research, why that's important is you want to be in control of your search. And so one thing that you can do is make sure that you are doing the research, gathering information. You don't want to leave anything to chance or leave anything to the last minute. So that is where that research really becomes important. So have an Excel spreadsheet, have notes, write it down, put it in your phone, whatever works for you, but make sure that you're doing your research so that you feel like you are in control of your process.
What schools are out there? In-state, out-of-state, big schools, small schools, urban, suburban, rural, put them all on there and start doing that research to see what's out there. And then make sure that you're thinking about what you're involved in, what you're curious about, not trying to fit a mold, but be authentic from the beginning and finding that fit. The big word that I always talk to students about too is impact. We want to know what is important to you and what impact those things are having on you, but what impact you are having on those opportunities within your school, the community, your job, whatever that is. We need to understand who you are so that we can help each other to find that best fit.
And I did say, and just to back up, because we always say do the research, we always say be prepared, but students don't know how. And it starts with talking to us, because that's what we're here for. We're a resource. Right. So students need to understand that. That's true. That's true. Understand that all your teachers have a bachelor's degree at minimum. Right. So understanding that you can get information from their experience. That's what the counselors are for. There's a community that wants students to go to college, if that's what students want to do, of course. Right. But just talk to what's around you, and that's how you can start that research of, is this, what I want to do? And if I do want to do it, how do I pursue it? By starting with those people who are closest to you. And if not closest, like I said, the outside people like us who will be able to assist.
Help you out.
Yes.
Yeah. So when you frame the relationship from a process perspective, right? So the engage in the conversation is, what do you have to do to be admitted, right? What do you have to do to be a good fit for us, right? But we have to take it deeper and have the kids look at, well, how am I going to maximize my experiences when I get there? What impact am I going to have on the overall campus? And what can I do when I get there? How can I fulfill things and make that more tangible to the students and the parents? Because when you just get caught in the lens of, what do I have to do to qualify? Part of your selection process for the institution is what you can do when you get there. And I think that is a huge opportunity for us to share with the students and the parents.
Yeah, I've been noticing a lot of students for a while, have been asking, what are the minimum qualifications to get into to this college or that college? I'm like, well, you don't want to be a minimum student, So, and that plays a role in the selection of, a highly selective college versus, a college that's not selective. And so, for your colleges, is there like a ideal, student profile that you're looking for? Because that's what they're looking for. That's the information that they're looking for. Yeah. What's the minimum requirements for your school? Right. But that's what they want to know, is what is the ideal student? What is the the student that comes to you that's going to get admitted, for the colleges that you've been at before and the colleges that you're at now. What's like the ideal student for these these colleges? What have you seen on your side?